our primary years coordinator, who will be helping me moderating your questions backend. Even after 3 months, COVID-19 remains an unknown enemy. We are unsure how it will infect or invade us, but we are sure that life has to go on and we need to deal with COVID-19. It's a strange situation and we are all in it together. Each day is a new learning and new beginning for us all. Now that the lockdown is planning to be lifted, our concerns are changing. How will school's life be for our students? In the words of Yeats, education is not filling a pail but lighting the fire. The mindset, motivation, metacognition are the three aims that fuels students' ability to be lifelong learners. And at Capstone High, our team is working hard to kindle that spark. As we learn to start with our virtual, as we plan to start with our virtual classes for our students, we are getting lots of queries from parents as to how the new way of learning will be, how we will motivate our students, what arrangements we will need at home to support them, how will the extended screen time affect their vision. All these days, we had been talking about keeping gadgets and mobiles away from school. But today, school has come within the mobiles and gadgets. Technology has helped us a lot dealing with the crisis, though technology itself is not transformative. It's a school, it's a pedagogy, which is. Ms. Nivedita's new blog post on LinkedIn also talks about it. We have shared the link with you here on the slide. It deals with blended learning. And what could be a better opportunity than getting an understanding with Ms. Nivedita in person? Hope this session will clear most of your concerns, if not all. The zeal and excitement of our teachers and students were at its height as we closed school in April, with some blended learning happening. Our students enjoyed their virtual learning journey. Going ahead, we will be using Google Classroom platform for all learning sessions and assignments for which each child has been provided with a school email ID till we reopen physically. And maybe we will use it for blended learning even afterwards. Blended learning is going to be the new normal. The daily routine will have 30 to 60 minutes online and offline study slots depending on which grade your child is in, with numeracy, literacy, knowledge and understanding of the world through science and social studies for students to follow at home, to learn at their own pace of time, supervised by parents. This will be done through a combination of interactive sessions, flipped classrooms, demo videos shared by teachers, activities and assessments provided through their learning journey. Plans for art integration, theatre, physical fitness are also embedded in the timetable, which will have juice and lunch break and self-study hours slotted too. Our session today with Ms. Nivedita Mukerjee, an educational consultant for many upcoming schools and institutions across India, and our academic advisor, will surely enlighten your path through the COVID-19 tunnel to set you into the new momentum of blended learning for your child. We hope this session will help parents and a large community of teachers in providing solutions to many thoughts that are hovering in our minds. Without much delay, let me take you through the flow of events. We will follow a few norms through the session. Your microphone will be in mute and will be controlled by the host. Your video will be off. If you have any questions that you would like Ms. Nivedita to answer, please put it up on the live comment box. We will have a wrapping up session at the end. We will compile all the discussion points from today's webinar and share with all of you in the next 1 week. Hope we will be able to answer most of your concerns. It is a hard time ahead. So let us see how we can work together, walk together with trust, with confidence to lead our children's future. Over to Ms. Nivedita. Good morning, Ms. Nivedita.
Good morning, Dr. Ratna, and good morning, all of you who have joined in Sunday morning. It is a beautiful morning. Actually, it is bright and sunny, and it is definitely beautiful for me because I am with teachers and parents. My the only constituent of students is missing, and we are all good, isn't it, Dr. Ratna?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So it is a difficult time. It is a trying time, but we are also working very hard to update ourselves, young and old teachers alike. We are learning a lot from what children like, from what children prefer, from how the world over teachers are working in it, and also getting a lot of feedback from parents to make the sessions more conducive, better, convenient for all concerned, while keeping the learning outcomes very, very clearly and high on the agenda. The schools are closed, but the learning is not. The schools will open and learnings will continue, whether the learning will be online or the schools will physical classrooms will open. Irrespective, uh, we will our job as educators, our job as schools, and our job as adults and children's lives, that learning, uh, education, development, all have to continue. It doesn't matter what form it will take.
Ms. Nivedita, we have a lot of questions that had been coming on to us from parents about how do we carry on with blended learning. Firstly, what is blended learning? In this situation where we are going virtually, we are unsure about how things will be, whether at all physically we will be able to open. So, what is that we are talking about when we talk about blended learning?
Right, right. So actually, what do we understand? Right. So what is it that we understand by blended learning? What do as teachers we understand by blended learning? As parents we understand by blended learning, and what is the school doing? What role the school is playing about blended learning? There is homeschooling and there is schooling, and there is partnership between parents and teachers in schooling. But blended learning is not something we have done in the past. There has been online courses and online certifications with some contact classes, perhaps. But blended learning in school education, in primary and secondary education, is completely a new term. We have done digital lessons, we have learned some online sessions in between, like flipped classroom, but nothing like what we are planning to do now. So it is a new learning. We don't have a playbook, and we have to still fix the formula which will work best for different age groups and within the age groups for different children, because just as in physical classrooms children learn differently, even online classrooms the children will take to learning it differently. So we are trying to figuring it out. Blended learning is, as we understand, is a mix of sessions online and children coming to school. And there's a big component in blended learning in children working on assignments at home, which is more than just homework. It is actually doing the work typically called as schoolwork at home. So a lot of independent learning, independent work will be done, which is not to be guided by the parents, assigned by the teachers, learned online, and to be submitted online. So all of these components will make up a blended learning. What component will be more or less, we will have to wait for government guidelines in terms of opening physical classrooms, in terms of parents' confidence of sending the children to school, in school preparedness to make it ready for physical sessions, whether it is staggered or alternate days or transport or teacher shifts, all of that will be sorted out. Over time, trust and confidence will happen for the school, for the teachers, for the parents to be ready to have the children on. In countries like Denmark, the first thing they opened after their lockdown were schools because their country has most, if not all, parents both are working. So for them, childcare and school was as important in education of the child as getting the parents back to work. So different countries, different districts will respond to school openings differently. But as far as schools are concerned, most of us are getting ready, and definitely, as I understand in Capstone, is very much preparing to do a lot of learning online and to be ready whenever is possible to open schools, possible, and government directive. Both will play here because we have to wait for our block education officer or district directive. And it will happen in different zones differently. Even within our district, there will be green zones, red zones, yellow zones, and those zones will uh, give options of opening schools at different times. And also, parents will have to be mindful of considering which zone they are in and sending their child to school so that the zones do not get mixed up and we do not pose risk to each other. So, all those will be plenty of criteria that will be worked out, but teachers are prepping for school openings in terms of learning to begin with. Some schools have continued all through this lockdown with sessions. I know Capstone has, with a short break for teachers' professional development and overall preparedness. So I think teachers are prepping very hard for it. And as we know that this session is how parents will prep for it. Dr. Ratna.
Ms. Nivedita, the question that we have is, is there a tentative plan for working parents to plan accordingly?
Very, very pertinent question because working parents are juggling their home, childcare, and work from home. And some of the offices have opened and the parents are going back to work. So for them to figure out the schedule is extremely important. It would be good. And I think some schools are getting ready with their online schedules. What I see is these online schedules will go through changes depending on feedback. So most of these schedules will be perhaps valid for a week or fortnight, and it will go through reviews from children feedback, teachers feedback, and parents feedback on what duration, what schedules, what subjects, and within subjects, which topics they are able to create better online sessions than the other topics. Some topics will naturally lend themselves to more online classes. Some subjects will lend themselves more, and some teachers will lend themselves more. So some teachers will be scheduled before, and while other teachers get ready with their professional development, with their gadgets, with their connectivity at home, we'll get ready, and those subjects will be scheduled accordingly. But broadly, timetabling, I'm sure, will be scheduled, uh, and they will be shared with the parents so they can plan their work. Maybe they can plan their shifts between the spouses. Maybe they can plan their timings with their extended family at home, so that somebody or the other is there for assistance. Maybe the siblings, the older siblings, can be of assistance to the younger siblings to help them. They can also plan the schedule of gadgets available at home depending on the classroom schedules.
Absolutely, Ms. Nivedita. Like we have planned a schedule, as I mentioned in my introduction to the parents. We will have allotted classes, and we are looking at maximum 3 to 4 periods a day, including co-curricular activity. Each day there will be a co-curricular activity, and maximum up to 2 classes for grade 3 to grade 8, and maximum up to 3 periods for grade 9 and 10, because the quantum of curriculum is more there. And we will have breaks, sufficient breaks, so that the children can learn at their own pace. Because when it is virtual learning, I think the quantum of work is more, both for teachers as well as for students. We are giving in between self study hour and breaks, so that at their own pace they can complete the assignments and work given, or if it is a flipped classroom, they can probably look into the resources that that has been given by the teachers, which they need to go through before they attend the class. So we are trying to balance the schedule, the timeline for the day for students. So even we have considered that lunch may not be ready at home during the slotted hour. So depending on the preparedness at home, they can have lunch earlier or later. We have given more than an hour lunch break. So the break times also vary from 30 minutes to 45 minutes in between.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
plan to start our day at 9, and
Hmm.
so that we can finish by latest by 3:40.
That sounds like a reasonable plan, because online, as we all know, much research has come out and we all are reading about it. And even the parents who are working from home and are attending calls, it must be it must be quite obvious to them how tiring it is. It's more tiring when you do it online. Even for teachers, they have to prepare lot more lesson content, because they don't have immediate physical inputs from children, which actually energizes the teacher to go on for the whole day. I can state from my personal experience, when I do physical seminars, I'm actually excited by the end of it. And when I do webinars, um, I am excited through the process, but at the end of it, it is it's quite draining, because one is not getting the feedback, immediate feedback from the audience. When we're not getting the energy transfer from the people, we're not getting the body language feedback. So it takes a lot more effort for the teacher to prepare, and similarly for the child to grasp it without those little excitement which happens in a physical classroom when they're, poking each other or smiling at the teacher or butting in between about it something, or borrowing an eraser from the next desk, or dropping the pencil box and creating a little mayhem. So those little energizers get a bit missed out. So it is tiring, and giving a good break is also good because we don't want the child's life online all the time. We are the people who don't want children, never wanted children to be having their phones inside forever, not playing video games all the time, not chatting online all the time, but actually go out and play physically, read a physical book, and do all of that. And now we're telling, come on, children, come to the class. We're online, and submit your quiz online and submit your assessment online, and do a chat with us online. Let's have an informal chat online. Let's eat tiffin with each other online. I mean, they need to shake their leg, see outside, walk out, move themselves around. They are growing children. They need to be physically up and about, even more than the adults need to be from their desk and chairs. So breaks are good. Uh, it doesn't matter if the day extends more. The teacher needs the break, the child needs the break, and they will function better. What also happens in the break is, of course, you can eat, drink, take a nap, or play a little, or skip a little, and do all of that. Also, you can exchange your gadgets, because all homes will not. I mean, if you have two children and two parents working from home, and you need to share the phone or the laptop or the desktop, or or the headphone for that matter, you can give each other a little bit break. Even I have seen, ergonomic chairs. You may have two for four people, and two. So if you're sitting on a sofa or a dining table chair, it may or may not be as comfortable as having a proper ergonomic chair. So you may want to shift equipment, you may want to shift furniture, you may want to move from a quiet zone to a not so quiet zone, and play a little bit of musical chairs with equipment and an environment, giving yourselves a little break. So yeah, breaks. It's good to have breaks, and in fact, I would suggest that once you have run this schedule for about, say, a week or 10 days or 12 days, do run a survey, or just ask parents and children and teachers to share with you inputs so that you can tweak the timetable, what so works best for all.
Yes, because if we are talking about partnership, I think we are just putting up our plan, considering a lot of concerns and issues, and what is there with the teachers who are also parents. And we have slotted it out with a lot of consideration. And definitely, we have made a plan for 1 month, and then definitely we will ask feedback from the students and the parents, and we will reconsider and replan our daily schedule. And as you were saying, I was laughing to myself. What a dichotomy! So long we were asking students to be stay away from gadgets, and now we are asking them to come into the gadgets when they actually want to go out into the open to basically feel the environment around. So, Ms. Nivedita, here we have one more question that had come up to us. Do we plan separate home space for students to? How do we plan separate home space for students to learn, or how do we make them learn at the comforts and confines of home?
Yeah. That is a big enabler. Space is a big enabler at home, for children to be in their learning zone. So it is a good idea to provision for space, and see what kind of space the criteria would be, what kind of space would offer a good light, great ventilation, something that what we consider in school classrooms as well, because you need a lot of oxygen for the brain to function at its optimum. Here's this life science teacher talking. But I think that's understood. The brain needs a lot of oxygen to function, otherwise you start feeling dull and tired and nothing gets in. And learning needs uh, a lot of that. So a lot of ventilation, lot of light, uh, hopefully a quiet place. If it is not possible to create a complete quietude, give noise cancelling headphones. A whole range of it is available, not those earplugs, but a headphone. Earplugs get very tiring for little children, and their ears, it's just tiring to manage. The earphones, the ear muffs, the headphones, which are noise cancelling, help the cooker city or the dog bark or things falling and crashing or somebody else talking. It just keeps the distraction, the sound distraction, to the minimum. If possible, if you can give a place where the child has a back to the wall, it is more convenient, because then people can carry about their work around the child, and it doesn't distract the rest of the classroom. It doesn't distract the child if people walking in and out from the backside. If possible, if you can put furnitures around the desk space of the child to create a little bit of boundary, or even if a makeshift curtain or a blind or a dupatta to put, just to create some translucent visual boundaries to give the child a coziness, a
A
comfort.
feeling of space.
A feeling of space is very important, and they don't feel that everybody is hovering in and looking into their screens as to what they are doing. They need that teacher child you know private
Domain.
connect. Yeah, they need that, and they need to be themselves, because a child is quite different in school and quite different at home, and it is a bit of a trespass if you are hovering in, and or if other people at home are hovering in with all good intention, but the child feels a little bit of discomfort. Some children feel it more than the other. So that sense of space, if you can create, I have, sorry, just continue.
You were talking about space. Um, uh, Actually, that's very much needed to have the natural flow of the class, because in class, the teacher and student are oblivious of the environment. Their environment is their peer and teacher. But here,
Right.
suddenly, when parents are hovering, and sometimes, if I may talk about being helicopter parents, it it probably restrains the natural flow of teaching and learning.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes parents just get excited about taking a look at the screen. Sometimes it's okay, or maybe the teachers can create a provision for that. That hey, bring your parent in. But more often than not, if you can actually hand over the child to the teacher in the virtual classroom. It is a good idea. I have also heard. Um, I have also heard that people have created spaces in the landings of the staircase. They have created little spaces under the dining table and covered it with a sheer curtain, and it has become a little cozy space for little children to have a classroom with the teachers. People have carved out spaces within a bedroom, and it's like a little office cubicle when everybody is against the walls and they have their devices in front, and it's a quiet room with their headphones on, and everybody is running their sessions. So people have devised different spaces in their houses. it is a good idea, just as adults have a bit of a workspace within their home. Since the children are also working from home now, it is a good idea to provision a space for them uh, at home to learn.
Right, Ms. Nivedita, we are having parents' questions coming in our live comment box, and I would request Yamini Sharma, our primary years coordinator, to put forth some of the questions before you.
Yes, so we have the next question, that is, what percentage of parents' involvement is needed in blending learning?
Um, Good one. How much do we need the parent to be involved? Uh, it's a good thing to get guidance sometimes from the teacher or from the child themselves. Whether the child needs your assistance or the child wants to share what they have learned. So in blended learning, the good part is that it is much easier than homeschooling, where the complete responsibility of ensuring the outcomes, the activities, the milestones, the curriculum, the syllabus completion, all with the parent. Here, the complete responsibility of syllabus, curriculum, assignment, everything rests with the teacher, with the specialists, with the expert. Between the child and the teacher, they should be able to manage everything. What requires your support in blended learning is giving them, as I say, a screen, a good screen. Then, number two, uh, a good space. And number three, working out the schedule with them such that it nicely dovetails with the school's schedule. So your food schedule, your interaction schedule, your play schedule is nicely mapped on with the school timetable that they have shared. In blended learning, the entire learning responsibility remains with the teacher of the child. Or the your responsibility is more enabling, more as an enabler in blended learning, to support in whichever way the child requires at home, and not really looking at the syllabus or curriculum or tests, or maybe if we are having the summative or the final tests at home, if we need to do it, then be the invigilator. Just go by what the teacher tells you to do. If not, just provision for your child the space, the screen. That's about it. The teacher takes care of the entire responsibility of the learning and the learning outcomes and the schooling of the child.
Ms. Nivedita, here we have two questions which we would like Ms. Yamini to take over, and they are related question. So, Ms. Yamini, if you can take over the two questions which has come into our chat box on feedback loop system, assessment and feedback loop system. The two questions I see, they are similar. So, Yamini, if you can take the two questions together for Ms. Nivedita to answer.
Yes, ma'am. The next question is, without the feedback, it will be more like a lecture. And also, how are you looking at corrections by the teacher and feedback loop system?
Um, it's critical. It's a important question which I think our teachers have to keep in mind, because it it is there's a possibility of our online lessons to again go back to very didactic one way lecture system. But the good part is the platform that we are using, like Google Suites and various other learning management systems. There are the teachers are it's helping them to create a lot of interactivity which otherwise would be happening in class, like quick quizzes, quick question and answer, quick show and tells, making peer in groups, breakout little breakout sessions in the chat boxes where two or three children can work together on the project and be sharing in the classroom session. So the good part is that the online systems, whether it is Google or many other LMSs that are being adopted by schools across, Google Suite definitely gives that opportunity of creating quizzes and breakout rooms and project creations, and gives a lot of opportunity for interactions. It does not mimic the live classroom, but actually there are many features which make it even more interactive. So a lot of one-on-one work, a lot of 1:2 and 1:3 work can be done. That is, a lot of small group learning can happen on online sessions. So there are some aspects which are actually quite beneficial when we are doing online sessions, so we can keep the physical classroom whenever we are getting that to do just emotional social emotional development, and not learning as such. Learning online, there a lot of interactivity has been provisioned for. You will see as the teachers start taking the sessions, and some of you must have seen who have the children in older classes, when the school was doing the online sessions, of how interactivity is quite built in. It's actually at a much higher level than a teacher could have taken in a class of 30 or 40. I hope that that takes care of that. The second question was on the assessments. I think even the online assessments have been managed quite well, because it's easier to do online assessments. It's easier to review online assessments. It's also easier to annotate online assessments. It's also simpler to do peer review online, so children can get feedback from each other besides the teachers' feedback. Because also it is easier to do integrated learning online, as in two different subjects can be integrated very easily on online learning. So it's actually getting more creative. So learning syllabus portions, learning curriculum portions is getting easier, quicker to both learn and teach, as well as to do assessments. It is taking a little while for teachers to learn that, but once the teachers are getting comfortable with it, um, they are finding it actually easier.
Um, Ms. Nivedita, if we are talking about integrated plan, just that you mentioned, um, the CBSE board is also talking about competency building, and competency building can only come through their greater understanding. If you are talking about the metacognition comes through interdisciplinary connect, transdisciplinary approach, and
Right.
also it helps them think deeper into the subject,
Mm.
and it deals with the higher order thinking questions, and that will lead to competency building. Depth
Yeah.
of knowledge will come through interdisciplinary work. So
Eh,
we are
that-
having plan for all of that.
mm.
So like if we are talking about blended learning, there is uh, the assessment are also planned to
Mm.
for students to delve deep inside the curriculum, like inside the conceptual understanding.
Yeah. Yesterday I was discussing with a couple of friends of mine who are teachers in US and UK. So the interesting thing that is coming out, that for long educators have been waiting to do a lot of blended learning. For a long time, the entire education system has been wanting to move into this kind of learning where physical spaces are used for social emotional development, and digital space is used for curriculum learning. because it can be self-paced. The children can pace the learning to their pace, to their interest, where lectures will be available, materials will be available, handouts will be available, and they can look at it as many times as they want. They can look at whenever they want. They can look at other subjects in parallel when they want. The education system has been wanting to move to this direction. There's one silver lining in this whole deep dark thing that is happening currently, is that the whole entire education system can leapfrog into that, and we will, end up with a system that works better for the individual student, which works better for the learner, which finally will become you know centered. It will be child centric, it will be student centric, and it will be not curriculum centric or syllabus centric or what gates we have put. It will be mastery oriented, it will be competency oriented. So there's one thing good that is coming out in our education space, is that uh, we are quickly developing a whole mass of educators into this digital space. So the educator in me, which is a much older person and has come from very chalk and board situation into the typewriter, into the digital realm. It took me so many years, 30 years, to get into this, but it is taking our teacher 3 weeks.
We are moving at a very fast pace.
Yeah. We're
We are
learning at
moving
the
at a
pace
very
of the
fast
crisis.
pace. So, as I mentioned, it is technology helps us in going through transformation, but it is the pedagogy and the teacher and the school that makes the difference. How we take it along. I have a few, we have a few questions that has come in our live comment box. I would like Yamini to take them up with you.
Sure, Yamini.
Ma'am, we have questions here, which is,
And
will we have a customized schedule per student? And how
Yamini,
many hours?
if you can switch on your camera.
So we have two questions here. I repeat the questions. Will we have a customized schedule per student? And how many hours do you expect kids to spend on online coursework each day and each week?
Good one. A good one there. It is, to begin with, it will be a little difficult to do a customized schedule, I think, for most schools, because they have to manage the teacher time as well. However, what gets customized is that there are recorded sessions. These sessions, the classrooms are recorded. The handouts, the pre-reading material, the tests will be there for the child to attempt, sometimes at their own pace. However, it is best that the schedule is held in common in the classroom space, so that all the assignments are ensured that they are being put in. The lesson is moving at the pace of the syllabus, because remember, it may be blended learning, but the tests are going to be there, the board exams are going to be there, the SATs are going to be there, the NEETs are going to be there. All those exams are going to be there, and they are going to be held at a particular time. So yes, the child can learn at their own pace. It is possible, and it will be quite good for the child. But overall schedule will need to be kept as per the school, because also whenever the school will open, and whichever time the school will open, and on and off even they open, we will be able to move in a particular direction at a particular pace. The second question was, tell me, Amini, what the second question was. There were two questions.
Yeah, I repeat, ma'am. How many hours do you expect kids to
Right.
spend on online coursework
Yeah,
each day
yeah.
and each week?
Right. That's a very good one. We will have to see how it goes. For the younger children, it will be much different, and for the older children, it will be much different. The seniors classes, school children are able to take at around 2 to 3 hours of online sessions every day, but the middle school children are able to barely manage 2 hours. The primary school children uh, they are able to manage an hour and a half of actual curriculum, added with an hour or 45 minutes of co-curricular activity. So we are also trying to do a pick and mix of these sessions and see how it works out. When we are doing online assessment, it's a different kind of a schedule. When we are doing actual curriculum teaching, it will be a different schedule. Even when we do in class, the actual, in a 45-minute class, what we try to do is actual learning, we try to keep it to 10 to 15 minutes, and the rest of the time is discussions, collaborative work, show and tells, working together, or a little bit of a quick test or a journal writing. We do a mix and match of that. So we will see how our experiences of those running physical classrooms we can bring to online classrooms. So you can expect anywhere from 1 hour to 3 hours per day sessions. Some days might be a little different from the other days, but more or less this will be it. And possibly it will be 6 days a week and not 5 days a week.
It is. It is. We have planned for 6 days a week. There is another question that has come up from Ms. Shabina Farad, which is also connected to this question. How does the student cover up for missed class?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because there will be, other than usual reasons for missing of health and sickness, there will be missing because of network issues, the child not in a mood at that time, the gadget not functioning at that point in time, the shared gadget at that point in time. See, most of the good part is the most of these classes, if not all, will have a lot of their portion recorded, will also have a lot of materials like the slide presentations, like the handouts, the test quiz available. So the child will be able to catch up with that. The teachers will also look at organizing catch up classes for students that I as they do otherwise in physical classroom sessions. There will be also possibility of doing some small group, one teacher with two children or one teacher with three children, support classroom or remedial classroom or catch up classes, whatever you may call. The teachers want the children to be up to speed. So whenever if your child is falling off, or encourage your child to talk to the teacher, you talk to the teacher. I'm sure the teacher will talk to the child, because the kind of assessments they are planning for online sessions, they will know if the child has fallen off the radar. Online attendance is being marked, and it will be acceptable by the boards. Online attendance will be acceptable by the boards. So teachers will have a clear view of which children are missing and how they can cope. It is hard work for the teachers. Sometimes the teachers will have to take double classes, they will have to take extra classes. So keep a bit of empathy for your class teacher and your subject teachers, because she's working very hard managing her home, learning new things, taking more classes, preparing more online sessions, all of that. So perhaps you could even suggest helping your class teacher with some resources, with some presentations, with anything that the teacher might require your support with. So get started with a good round of collaboration with your child's teachers and child's school. We have to work it together. We haven't done this beforehand, parents. We have to learn it all fresh. And some of the teachers are as old as me, and we do take a little while more than the younger ones. We are learning from the young teachers, minus our ego, but we are taking a little more time than the young ones are doing. So parents, you are younger ones, please come around and help us, teachers and schools, with our new learnings.
I think, Ms. Nivedita, this will also give us an opportunity to get into partnership, because we have a lot of parents who can come as guest lecturers and help us teach. And especially, we are looking for parents who can help us with cyber safety,
Yes.
because that's a concern we are looking into.
Yeah.
So before we start going on virtually, we are looking into identification of parent support or support from adults from outside, experts in the field who can also guide us so that
Yes.
we don't go wrong anywhere.
Yes.
So we will request parents, if they are into this profession, this line, they can share their expertise with us to help us build the system more strong. Ms. Nivedita, in this note, we have another question that have come up from parents. Would there be any additional training on emotional part for children and parents? I know this is very close to your heart. You can
Mm.
you can help us with that.
Yes, yes. Yes, we are going to work on this, and we are going to not only do emotional support for parents and children, but teachers as well, so that uh, we support, as schools, we support the teachers support the parents, and the children are counselors. Each of the schools have their special need teachers, the counselors. Schools are also roping in additional consultants and counselors, which the parents can have access to on a regular basis, for the social emotional needs. It would be good to be sharing with your teachers or the school counselor, um, what is happening in your life, as you would have done otherwise in your parent teacher meetings, so that we can come to each other's support, we can lean in on each other, we can seek help, and we'll do special training sessions on how to understand the emotional needs, or where the emotional needs are arising, even before a child or a parent seeks help, and work on those spaces. So yes, social emotional needs, the adolescent needs, the needs of equity and inclusion, the privacy needs, all of which we are planning a series of sessions almost once every fortnight. And please watch out for this space, because we will be organizing these sessions on an ongoing basis with our teachers, with our parents. Um, please, please feel free to contribute your expertise as well, so that together we learn and grow. And this is very high on our agenda, because something which we are feeling a lot because of this social distancing is sense of aloneness, sense of isolation, the lack of touch, especially the children. We're used to our high fives and hugs, and especially as preschoolers, we're missing their little wet kisses around, and their little, the snots that they rub on our sari achals. We're missing those things. Now we're missing those little tugs. So we need that, and we are going to work on it in a structured manner, of how to ensure emotional support for the child, for the parent, and with the teacher.
Ms. Nivedita, we have not much time, but we have more questions that has poured in. I would like Yamini to again take it on. Uh,
Ma'am, the question is how the online classes will work for the new students as they have changed their schools, and
Mm.
how can the child be comfortable with the new teachers and the new environment?
Right, right. See, that's a challenge in blended learning, because a lot of learning will begin for these new children online without them ever having gone to school physically. So it will be a challenge. They don't know their new teachers, they don't know their new classmates. The younger children don't know any classmates. They know only their family. So the plan would be that gradually, the in the initial sessions, the teacher, child, and parent will have some one-on-one sessions before they open up to the whole classroom. So there will be the teacher, there will be the child, and there will be the parent, and there will be some informal discussions. So the child can see and hear the teacher, even if it is 2D, it's all right. The parent will talk to the teacher. The teacher will introduce herself to the child. So those little introductory sessions will be planned. The school pictures will be shown over time. And in the next few sessions, as the child starts getting comfortable with the teacher in the presence of the parent, the rest of the children will be introduced in the classroom. For the older children, it will become a little easier because the icebreaker sessions can be easily organized with the older children, and the older children also have started getting used to the idea of doing online calls with their friends and family. What I would suggest is for the younger children is that the parents, you can start introducing, if not already done, to be introducing new relatives, the relatives they don't know of, or the siblings or the cousins they don't know of, introducing them new on screen. So they start getting used to this idea of meeting new people on screen, meeting your friends on screen, this uncle or that auntie or that puppy, anybody, introducing new people, new live living things on screen to the younger children. And as they start getting used to, they will take their new class teacher also. Similarly, it will be, you will be paving the way for the child and the teacher to meet the new school and the new classroom thus. So if you can do this little 5 minute, 3 minute introductions to new people in their lives, it might help.
Ms. Nivedita, there are a few questions that parents are asking regarding primary years. Maybe we will take this on a little later towards the close. I would like to quickly answer one of Ms. Amrita's question, Amrita Sinha. She has asked if, do we continue with Olympiads? I would like to answer this question. Her question is, do we continue with Olympiad participation, or it will be only school online curriculum? To Ms. Amrita's question, we plan to have the Olympiad participation by students because we are working with the Olympiad Foundation to see in the situation of lockdown continuing and virtual classes happening, how can we have these online Olympiad participation happening online. So we are in touch with the Olympiad Foundation, and we will let you know in we will let you know shortly, because everybody is in a state of uncertainty still, but people are looking for solutions because we don't want children to miss out on this.
Yeah, I
So
heard the online MUNs happened very well and very successfully. So I don't see how, yeah, I don't see children missing out on these experiences, albeit a bit little differently.
So, Ms. Amrita had earlier also put forth a question, how do we take blended learning for pre-primary years?
Yes, blended learning for pre-primary years will be a different ball game. We have discussed this in our earlier seminar as well, for the preschoolers. Because we will try to see how least amount of time, how effectively we can do online, and how most of the work, most of their learning can be done offline. It's a possibility that some of you as parents will need to take some time and learn with the teacher of what activities can be done and what's the objective of that activity, and then report back to the teacher about the activity with pictures or with notes of how it happened. So teacher will do so it will be something like teacher will do some sessions with the children, teacher will do some very short sessions with you, and teacher will give you like a checklist of little activities that you can do and report back to the teacher as to how it was done, for her to assess and plan the next lesson, other as she would have done as an observation in the school. So you will have to be the teacher's eye for observing the activities at home and give her that feedback to the teacher. So the preschool, the pre-primary parents will have to do a little additional work than the older parents. But you can also do this by assigning somebody else in your home, like the older sibling, if there's one, or a grandparent, if you're lucky to have one at home, or an uncle or aunt, or anybody in the neighborhood whom you are okay to have them at home in this distancing situation, who can regularly uh, uh, assist you with your child's activities. I also know that teachers are preparing little pre-primary and preschool kits for parents, which they will sanitize and send it to you, and you can receive it and work with those little kits, or they'll make a checklist for that kit, and you can create those like a play-doh or a set of blocks, uh, or with materials at home, recycled materials at home, and what learnings can be done on literacy, numeracy, and knowledge and understanding of the world. A lot can be done with materials at home. So teachers will send you guidelines on that. But yes, you will be the teacher's extended eyes and hands at home, and will learn in turn from the teacher and share back with her.
Right. As per our plan, we are planning fun inquiries where learning will involve a lot of fun activity, and it will be lesser screen time and more of learning through
Yes,
experience. So there will be exploration, there will be innovation within the confines of home through daily activity along with parents.
right.
So maybe in the kitchen, maybe in with their toys, in the cupboards, in the parents' wardrobes. So
Yes.
learning activity will be connected to fun activity uh, with whatever we have at home, other than planned activities that the teachers will be sharing for pre-primary.
Yeah.
I think
We,
we
we
have,
will. Yeah,
yes,
we've shot. Yeah, we
yes,
will be designing. Yeah, we will be designing activities which take care of the literacy and numeracy outcomes. We take care of the milestones of the gross motor skills and the fine motor skills. All the activities that can be done for that, just as we were doing in the classrooms, the teachers will be planning for them to be done at home. Actually, home is a very rich space
resource,
for
resource.
very, very rich resource. So, and our teachers are very creative, and they will enlist the materials that you can use for particular learning objectives. So, yes, you will have to learn a little and be the extension of the teacher at home. But have faith, you have always been the first teacher of your child. You have done good as the first teacher of your child, and you will continue to be the teacher of your child in many and more ways.
And that's what we believe in at Capstone High, Ms. Nivedita. It's the partnership, and like we have to orchestrate the child learning together. We have to orchestrate the child's learning together, be the guiding star for them at home, with the help of teachers who are preparing to take on the challenges of virtual learning, and uh, they are much excited to start the new session next week. So I think we have we have completed in our time, and we have answered most of the questions that had come to our bucket from the parents. So maybe some concluding remarks from your side, Ms. Nivedita, before we close.
Yeah, quick learnings for us. We have to ensure that we follow up with some additional webinars on emotional support sessions. So yes, we will be working on it. Thank you for directing us towards it, and I hope that it has been meaningful for you to have spent the Sunday morning discussing with us. Please keep sharing your questions with us. We will work on them along with you. The better the questions are, the more difficult the questions are, the more creative we will all uh, get to and keep at it. Thank you for the session, Dr. Ratna.
Thank you, Ms. Nivedita. It had been always wonderful to have you with us, clarifying parents' concern and guiding all of us together in our journey forward with learning, as we always have believed in partnership, and nothing can be better than partnering with parents in the child's learning journey ahead. So thank you, parents, for being here on a Sunday morning. We will come up with many more such webinars based on your input. So keep sending us your queries. Share your concerns with us so that we can all put them together, and we can again meet on a Sunday after morning to have our session to clarify all our doubts with Ms. Nivedita. Thank you all. Have a nice weekend of whatever the weekend is left here. These days, I think every day is a weekend. So let's hope and see how Mr. Modi plans the lockdown session ahead. So till then, goodbye.
Bye.
We will be sharing the proceedings of this webinar with you in the next 1 week. Thank you, parents.